Hello and welcome to another live Q&A. We've got Evan here with us. He's kind of behind the scenes. He's going to be letting us hear those questions that you guys sent in for those that weren't able to hop on the live or maybe just didn't want to be the one to ask the question. We have those questions, and then anyone else that is joining live, please feel free to pop those questions in the comments below. We're going to be filtering through those, making sure we're answering all of your questions. For those of you, many of you I know are already in a program of mine, but if you're not, we'll pop the link in the comments, description.
Yeah, whatever.
Probably both of them.
All the above.
We'll drop that for you guys so you can hop into one of my free programs. We got a couple different options for you guys. Fun way to get started. So make sure you snag those after the live because I want you guys to stick around because we're going to hop right in.
For sure. And we figured while we're giving people some time to join, we could just ask some icebreakers. So we'd like to kick things off. So, Faith, I think I know the answer to this question, but what was the worst haircut you ever had?
Oh my gosh. let me just say, straight across bangs are not for everyone. I went through a little time in my life. I was like, I'm going to be rebellious. I'm going to do something crazy. And it really backfired. So, but I think we should throw it back and ask Evan what his was.
I think we should just leave
I wish
this
you could
about,
pop up the picture right now. You know the one. You know the one.
But I think I'm going to choose not to.
So. Just at least tell them so they can visualize it.
That's right. Let's see here. If you had to sing karaoke, what song would you pick?
Okay, this one's easy because given the right circumstance, I will sing karaoke. Not well, but I'll do it.
You'll at least attempt.
And it will be Dixie Chicks always. Any other songs. Earl Had to Die, top of the charts. But yeah, anything Dixie Chicks really.
That's respectable.
I'll sing from the bottom of my heart.
All right, we'll do one more while we give some people some time to trickle in.
Awesome.
And, we'll be trying to watch the comments coming from Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff. But so if you were famous, what would it be for?
Evan, I am famous. What are you talking about? I can promise you it would not be for my singing. I know my weaknesses. I don't know. I really think I'm going to be famous one day.
Okay,
and I think it's just going to be from being like awesome.
Hey, that's fine.
I think that's what it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That'll work.
I'll take any any of
the above.
Good famous, not bad famous. There's a such thing.
That is right. That's exactly right. So we got a lot of questions. So we'll see how many of these we get through. And what I'll do is, as we have questions come in through the live chats, I'll ask you those.
Bring those first, for sure.
Yeah, we had a lot of people kind of send in questions because this is, it's hard to find, I think, a good time for everybody. And,
it is.
Early in the morning's tough. Late, is also tough.
Yeah.
A lot of your people in your groups as well as followers, I think, have kids and things. So.
Yeah, so it's always, I think, even for us, it's our schedules are so crazy. So 8 p.m. live might work, whereas the next day it wouldn't. So
for sure.
Totally get that. So we try to give you guys some options, but don't worry, all of these are always recorded and we'll post them for you guys afterwards. So make sure if you're on YouTube that you're following along so you get notified of those. If you're watching on Facebook, I would assume you already do.
All right, so I know this was a really good question that you got this week from somebody in your group. So is it true that if you eat after 6 that your body doesn't fully process the food?
And so I think this is a very fair question to ask because in today's world with intermittent fasting being so popular, people just associate, if they're not eating late because the food's not going to be broken down properly and things like that. And there really is just no scientific proof to that. The big thing here is if you're eating in a caloric deficiency, you're going to reach your goals. It doesn't matter what time of the day you eat those calories. What matters is how much you're eating. So if you're eating a bunch of junk at night, that's you're not going to feel good. You're going to have other issues. You're going to have bloating. You're going to have things like that is a whole nother level of issues. But again, it doesn't matter if you stop eating at 6 or you stop eating at 8 or if you eat up until midnight. As long as you're still in that caloric deficiency, if your goal is to lose weight, then you're going to lose weight. Because I think that's the big thing. People think, it matters what time that I'm eating. I feel like just with intermittent fasting, that really that's what really spikes people thinking that way. And of course, people say that all the time, but there's just really not a lot of backing to that. Again, it's about how much you eat, not when you eat it.
For sure. No, I mean, that's a good point.
Such a great question, though.
Yeah, for sure. This was a good one. I think this one came to you through Instagram. So when you're not feeling it to your best, or to the best of your ability, or just feeling mentally 100% there, what's the first thing you would do to kind of get your spark back or get your confidence back?
So that one was from Instagram, and we did just release episode 2 of Redefine Beautiful, and that kind of went hand in hand with that question. That's kind of, I think, what kind of stemmed that. And I mentioned in that episode that one thing that has really just like been a consistent thing that works for me is just looking in the mirror and saying one positive thing about myself each and every day, especially on those days where you're just really like you're in a funk, you're not feeling good, you're feeling bloated, you're just feeling like you haven't been hitting your goals, things like that. You start reinforcing the positive things and stop dwelling on those negative things, because it's so easy to kind of get into that, like, oh, my clothes don't fit right, I feel uncomfortable, all those things that you can say are so negative. To purposefully say positive things on a daily basis is so important. And that's something that works for me. But I'm realistic. Every day is not going to be great. And even telling myself that I'm great doesn't make me feel great always. The thing is pushing through even on those days when you're like, I just don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. I'm not confident in doing this. It's kind of those days. Those days are what really make you, is those ones where you show up when you don't feel like showing up. And that's also another kind of little tangent I'm getting on here, but a lot of times people are like, how do you stay so motivated? And if you truly think that somebody's motivated all the time, you could not be more far from the truth, because I have never in my life met somebody that stayed motivated 24/7. That is not me. But again, it's those days when you don't feel motivated, but that you still show up. Those are ones that are really going to get you towards your goals, whatever those goals may be, and kind of really get you out that funk. Now, I do also, on the other hand of that, there are some days where you just don't feel like it, and your body's like, I don't feel like it. I don't have the energy to do it. And those are days you should rest. Don't mistake those signs. Like if your body's telling you need rest, take that rest. Sometimes it could be a day, could be a week, whatever you need though. Like listen to your body. If you're really just not in that mindset, try focusing on something else. So if you're not in the mindset to do workouts, try focusing on your nutrition. Try focusing on getting, that gallon of water each day. Have smaller goals that you can work towards when you're just not mentally in it for the whole big picture. Focus on those little things, because those are going to give you those victories to kind of keep you going. So yeah, I feel like that's a kind of a big way, but those are just some things that I personally practice, and I tell my girls to practice to kind of keep you on track, keep you confident. So yeah.
For sure. No, there's a lot that goes into the answer, and there's probably like some of that perception with Instagram, Facebook, like that somebody is always like motivated. So that's
again, it's a highlight reel. It's not the whole movie. You're not seeing everything. You're not seeing the struggles. And some people do share. I feel like I do share both. But it's easy to get caught up on a curated Instagram page and be like, oh, they've got it together. They're always, working out. Every picture that I post where I've worked out, I didn't wake up and ready to go. It took me a while to kind of get into that. And, but I do find that posting my sweaty selfies is a way to hold myself accountable. So, some people might get annoyed by it, but I say, post the selfies if they are meaningful to you. And if somebody doesn't like it, well.
For sure.
There you go.
By the way, Ann is super excited. She finally caught a live.
Yay, Ann! Yes, she has been trying really hard to catch a live. So I'm so happy you're here, girl.
For sure.
Let me know if you have any questions.
So let's see here. This was a good one. So how many times should you ideally work out in a week? I mean, are we talking 7 days a week? one day a week?
Okay, and so it's all really going to depend on who you are, what your goals are, and what you're physically capable of. Again, I think a lot of people forget to rest. I think we just want to hit the ground running. We have that momentum. We want to keep going. But part of a healthy fitness lifestyle is rest. Your body needs that rest to rebuild that muscle. So don't skip those days of rest. I usually, somebody who, if you're training for something a little bit more intense, like an athletic event, a marathon, things of those nature, you can train more days. However, if you're just starting out, let's just start with like 2 to 3 a week. Not, if you get it, great. If not, let that be a goal. Set a small goal, get excited about reaching that, and then you can add days in. I typically recommend 4 workouts a week once you're like set into a routine. But again, you don't always just start there. You don't start with 4 workouts. Again, if you're just starting out, you definitely don't, you're going to be fatigued. Your muscles are going to be sore. You're going to be using things that you don't normally use on a daily basis. So you definitely want to give your body time to recuperate from that stuff. So as a general, I personally shoot for 4, and I don't think I've gotten 4 workouts in quite some time, but that's still my goal. But I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't reach it. So I am 2 years postpartum, but I'm still I'm doing it on my time. I'm hopping back in on my time. So that should be, set a goal, but also be realistic, be forgiving with yourself if you don't reach it. Life happens, things happen. So yeah.
All right, Kylie's tuning in and she's got a question.
Hi, girl.
It's a good one because I think you got one kind of similar to this regarding teaching. So just along this line, so for somebody that's got kids, as well as, because I think the other question you had from somebody as well was they're a teacher and they're getting back into school. So kind of on that same token, how do you find time to work out when you're, juggling kids and work and all that stuff? So what do you do?
Life things. Okay, so this is a great question, and I know Madison asked this on Instagram, and she is a teacher, and so being a teacher, you have those early morning hours, and it's kind of wonky. You're at school a bit later, and for teachers especially, they just go from just, being off for the summer, some of them, not all, but, have that time period where you're off and you had a little bit more flexibility and kind of could do it. But I think having that schedule is actually going to work in your favor if you make a schedule for your workouts as well. So, and again, I'm being very specific with workouts in this portion, but to say, if you know that you have to be up at this certain time and you'll be at work till this time. Now, I know Madison personally doesn't have kids yet, but, I know a lot of people who are teachers, they teach and then they go home and then it's family life. It's not like you can go home, work out, that sort of thing. So it's not always the case. So
and Kylie's getting ready to have a child of her own.
Yes, we are so excited.
That's right.
But yeah, so really it's just putting your workouts in your schedule. If it's not, and me and Evan, we actually talked about this last week, and this week we're going hard, it's only Wednesday, but we're going hard into making our workouts. We're putting it on the schedule. We're showing up for ourselves. And I think that's so important. So I want you to physically put those things on your schedule. You're going to work out at this time, set your alarm, whether for some people, for those of you that do have kids, or even I go back to Madison who, is about to get married. She has a family. She wants to spend time with her fiance when she goes home. Wake up earlier. That's you are going to have to, there are going to be times where you have to sacrifice things. So now I'm telling you, so you're going to wake up earlier. So unfortunately, I think some of you that teach or whatever have to be out the door by 6:30. So you're looking at 5 a.m., but also then at night, go to bed a little bit earlier. I find that personally, I don't mind working out at night, but now that I have a younger child, it just doesn't happen. I'm drained by the end of the day.
Sure.
It's just I'm done. So for us, it's easier for me to work out in the morning. So I have started to tell myself, I'm going to bed earlier. I'm making that a priority. So again, with anything in life, there's going to be give and take. You're going to have to sacrifice something. So for me, I'd rather go to bed just a little bit earlier so I can get up a little bit earlier, get that workout in before the kids get up, before I need to be at work. And then the same goes for meal planning. And I think the biggest thing that would help is for one, to meal plan. And I know Madison, you're in the, Madison and Kylie are both in the nutrition program, so you have those meal plans and it kind of tells you exactly what you need to do and all that. But they are flexible, so if it's easier for you, if you need to eat the same thing a couple, days in a row for dinner, you just repeat a day, you're good to go. But find those meals that you know that you can make in bulk, and most of them are in the program are like that. So
right. And that's one thing I was going to say, you do really well with, when you're making meal plans.
Yeah.
And obviously this doesn't have to be something specific to your program, but I know you do with your meal plans that if you cook something the night before, it's typically leftovers.
It's leftovers for lunch. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm all about efficiencies, because that's how our life is wherever I can get time back, I'm going to do that. So, sometimes I'll double a recipe and we'll have that for a couple nights. Luckily, we're not too picky. Evan will eat anything.
I'm just, whatever, it's food.
So for us, we're okay with that having, if we have the same thing a couple nights in a row, it's not a big deal. So that's going to give you some time back. So again, that's getting you to bed a little bit earlier so you can get up a little bit earlier for those workouts. So it all kind of goes hand in hand, but really just taking it all and making it a routine. And then the biggest part of it is just being forgiving. I can't stress that enough. Have your goals, set them, but don't beat yourself up if you don't reach them. But don't use that as an excuse. Oh, well, okay, so we're at Wednesday. I haven't really started hitting my goals. I'm just gonna wait till Monday. That is the worst thing you can do, because you're gonna just go all out, and it's just, there's binge eating, there's just no self-control. You kind of just, and then you're just, all you're doing there is making it so much harder to start back on Monday. You have good intentions, you're there, you're wanting to do it, you want that fresh start. My thing is, it's a new day. It's a new start. That's your new start. Don't wait till Monday. Go ahead and do it. But yeah, biggest thing here for you ladies with kids and that work schedule, make your workouts and your nutrition a part of your schedule, and then you're gonna be more likely to stick with it.
Right. No, solid answer. And then Billy had a question kind of tiptoeing off of Kylie's question. So what about pregnancy workouts? So, not to tell too much, but something big coming for you.
So Billy who?
Huh?
Who was it?
Billy Evans.
So we do have a pregnancy program, or I have a pregnancy program, and I do everything in there is obviously pregnancy safe. When we do lives, they're all pregnancy safe. So you want to make sure that whatever program you're following, that the exercises are going to be safe for you and baby. You want to be knowledgeable on what you can do and can't do, because if you just go Google, you're going to get all sorts of different answers. And it can be really confusing because there's just a lot. Evan's over here smiling, and it's throwing me off track.
Well, I'm just laughing because Billy said Billy who, as if you should know.
I should. But yeah, well, I didn't know if somebody was telling me that they were pregnant, so I was just trying to get the deets. You got something
had to
tell me?
check. You were like,
yeah, I was wait, who? Yeah, okay.
Kind of a weird way to announce, but anyways, rubbing it back in.
Yes. So there's a lot of information, and I did recently get pre and postnatal certified, because I feel like there's just that gap in between, you have somebody who's already working out, or you have somebody that hasn't been working out, and ultimately both of those people want to have a healthy pregnancy and stay active or start being active. So yeah, there's I personally think you need a catered program to you to keep you and baby safe, because some people are going to tell you yes you can do this, while others will tell you no, and you're just going to get really confused. A lot of information out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I definitely would recommend I personally recommend my program that we are revamping. So
stay tuned on that, because we got some big things.
So it's already pretty solid, but we're definitely bringing just making it even better for everyone. So I personally think that my program is a great fit for you. However, whatever you do, I do recommend finding a program that is specific to pregnancy. Again, just keeping you and baby safe, that is the most important thing. So you can start out, just some general tips. You can start out, make sure you're just walking, staying active, moving around, but also there are some things you should avoid as you get further along in your pregnancy. So hit me up.
That's right.
I'll help you out.
All righty, great questions. So, did we go over? Yeah, so kind of off of. Did we talk about how long we should work out?
We touched base on how often to work out.
I think another good question along those lines is like when you are working out, like what's a good kind of time frame to
so kind of like piggybacking off of that. Everyone's going to be different, but honestly, even a 20-minute workout is a solid workout. If you're just starting out, that could be more than you need. So it really just depends. But a lot of people think that I'm starting out, I need to do an hour in the gym. Well, that's not true. If you do an hour in the gym just starting out, I guarantee you're going to burn out. You're not going to stick with it,
right.
And you're just gonna start developing this negative relationship with fitness in general. So my recommendation, start with like an easy 20-minute workout. I say easy, and then you get to it and you're like, this isn't easy. Because me and Evan actually do a lot of 20-minute workouts. I mean, this just goes back to being busy and having kids, and sometimes you just got to fit in what you can fit in. So, 20-minute workout, not a bad idea. It's a great place to start. Once your goals get a little bit more refined, if you're wanting to build muscle, if you're training for any sort of event or whatever, then you can up 45, 60 minutes. It really just depends. And another thing, just to kind of tail off of that, depending on what your goal is, a lot of times I get asked about cardio. And in my program, I don't force cardio on anybody. If you love cardio, keep it in. If you don't have to do it. There, I said it. You don't have to do cardio. But if it's something you enjoy, I definitely encourage you to keep it in. But depending on what your goals are, just remember with cardio, you're actually going to be tapping into your muscle, not your fat. Before I really started my fitness journey, I was a runner. I loved running. And I still do from time to time. At this moment, though, if you see me running, you better run too, because it ain't going to be good. I have
not your favorite activity.
I have not ran in a while. So, but to say, like when I first started out, I thought I was doing all the right things to lose weight, because that was my original goal when I started. And I just couldn't get rid of that excess fat. Like I had the nice little muffin top, and that's just where my body like stores the fat. And I could tone, my legs, but nothing else was really kind of working there for me. So once I started strength training, that's when I started to lose in my midsection. So it's definitely something, if you can do both, great. If you only can do one, I recommend going with the strength training, because that's where you're going to build muscle. You're going to start to burn more fat. When you strength train, you're burning your fat, you're not burning your muscle, where running is tapping into your muscle. So just a little, if you like it, stick with it. If not, if it is something you enjoy and you're trying to do both, just think about what your goal is, and that'll determine when you do the cardio. So if your goal is to be faster, then you want to do your cardio first and then strength train after. If your goal is to get stronger, then you want to lift first and run after.
Very good. Also, kind of, you had a lot of questions along these lines. So, how does somebody decide how much weight they should do when they're working out? So, especially for somebody that's beginning in the gym, or, beginning to work out at home, and, how do they decide?
Yeah, so my biggest thing here is don't laugh at the 3-pound weights, because there are sometimes, even now, there's some exercises I'll grab the 3-pound weights. So it really just depends on what you're doing. If you're going for time versus reps, that's also going to be a factor. If you're just starting out, also going to be a factor. If you have any injuries, you also want to take that into account. You definitely don't want to make them worse. So main things here, start light. If you feel like you can do something for 10, 15 reps before you really start to feel it, you need a heavier weight. 15 to 20 reps. If you can do that, you're not really feeling it, that's when you want to up that weight. If you don't have that weight available, then you're going to just do more reps until you can get more weights at your home. So my programs are all at home base, so I always recommend starting with like 2s or 3s and a set of 5. So like 2s and 5s or 3s and 5s, not 2s, 3s and 5s. And